Hi everybody, my name is Sven. I'm the campaign director of a group called Tanker Free BC. And I want to start by telling you a little bit about how we came into existence. And Michael's covered a lot of stuff. He just dropped a huge knowledge bomb on you, so I'm not going to spend too much time rehashing the details of the pipeline. I'm going to leave lots of time for your questions. So in 2010, an accountant working out of an office in Cole Harbour named Bill Gannon was looking out of his window, maybe when he should have been working, and he noticed a crude tanker passing through the harbour. And he thought to himself that that was pretty weird. So he called up a friend of his, Rex Weiler. And Rex is one of the founders of Greenpeace and a well-known author. And he started to do some research and found out that very quietly, sometimes between 2005 and 2007, Kinder Morgan had started sending tankers through Vancouver Harbour, exporting tar sands crude. And he brought together a group of people, not unlike this group, in a living room in Vancouver, and they started talking about this problem, and out of that, Tanker Free BC was born. And over the last couple of years, we've been raising awareness about this issue and trying to find out more, because the more we look, the more we find is hidden. Last night, I know some of you were at a forum here in Burnaby, similar to this one, with representatives from Kinder Morgan, and they told us things like, well, once the oil's on the boat, we don't know what's going to happen. We don't know whether the Port Authority plans to dredge the harbour and expand it so larger tankers can come in. We don't know where this oil comes from. It comes from the tar sands. We're not responsible for that. That's somebody else's problem. I think we all know that their business case is based on expanding the tar sands. We all know that they want to bring in larger tankers into the harbour and increase the amount that they can ship at any one time. But they're hiding those facts from us. They're also hiding the exact route of the new pipeline. They won't give us maps. And in fact, we suspect that they probably don't know exactly where the current pipeline is because, of course, it was built in the 50s before there was GPS, and since then all the communities that it runs under it grew. And as we saw with the 2007 spill here in the city, sometimes we're not entirely sure where those pipes are.
Yeah, but that wasn't Kinder Morgan's fault that that pipeline ruptured. It was a two-bit contractor that didn't follow the due diligence in the process to have someone there on hand.
Well,
and the city was also partially responsible.
I know that that was the subject of a lawsuit, and Kinder Morgan was fined and paid a substantial fine for that.
But they didn't break their pipeline. It was broke by an independent contractor.
I didn't say they did. What we know is that the tar sands is what they refer to as landlocked in bitumen. They have plans. You've seen a map of the tar sands or the pictures that Michael showed you earlier. It's massive. It's perhaps the largest man-made project in the world. It's approximately a third of the size of the licenses that they've been given. So they could double it easily, and they would still have room to grow. But they can't do that unless they can find new markets to get that oil to. And that's why there's a pressure to build the Keystone XL pipeline, the Enbridge pipeline, and this pipeline. This is all about getting that oil out of Alberta into new markets. So what kind of benefits does that for Canada? Well, Alberta will make some tax revenue, but studies in Alberta show that because royalties on the tar sands are so low there, that the province barely breaks even after the social and environmental costs of the project. And that doesn't take into account the long-term cleanup of the mess that the tar sands is leaving behind for the people of Alberta, or the health impacts of the communities that live downstream. Here in BC, we're going to see some minor tax revenues. They do pay a few $1 million of property tax, for instance, to the city of Burnaby. They quoted us a number last night that they expect to make about $5 a barrel in... 10, I think it was. Well, the number I heard last night was 5. Okay. They're still negotiating that. That'll be part of the tolling hearings that we're expecting in the fall and starting very soon. At $5 a barrel, at 750,000 barrels a day times 365, works out to about $1.4 billion in profit for the company. So there's a massive amount of profit there for them. very little coming back. We heard from last night from the Mayor Derek Corrigan and the City of Burnaby. Their city staff project that they're going to create 12 new jobs in the local economy.
What a waste of money down the drain.
So I think when you look at the amount of risk that our communities are facing versus the reward that is being offered, it's a pretty simple equation for most of us. So what can we do about it? Well, there's meetings like this happening all across the province. I've been to 4 of them this week alone. And all across the country, actually. I've been meeting with environmentalists from virtually and in person from all across the country, and there's people concerned all around. And there's little groups springing up. Michael's group came into existence, what, was it 8 weeks ago now?
Yeah.
They're moving pretty fast. Yeah. So we're working at Tanker-Free BC to try to network as many of these small local groups that have concerns, to get them to share information and work together. And we have a pretty aggressive plan, and we're going to be all summer and fall long, we're going to be holding local community town halls in some of the most impacted communities. My volunteer AJ was handing out flyers early for the first one that we'll be holding in Vancouver. We'll be releasing a report that shows some of the impacts that an oil spill would have on Stanley Park. Working with the Stanley Park Ecology Society and the Parks Board of the City of Vancouver. And we're hoping to hold a similar forum here in Burnaby, and we'll be announcing those shortly. And we'll also be going door to door and out on the street in communities, talking to his people, so they can get informed and learn more about this project and how they can get involved. So hopefully we're going to pass around a clipboard afterwards, and if you'd like to get in that loop and find out about those meetings when they happen, share your email with us and we'll keep you in the loop. I also want to talk a little bit about solutions. Usually when we talk about energy and solutions, we all think of windmills and solar panels. And those are great. Those are things that we all need to move toward. The thing about oil, though, is that nobody burns it for electricity. It's just not feasible. It's for transportation. So when we're thinking about alternatives, we also have to think about investing in transportation solutions for our communities. The Evergreen Line is a great example of a project that should have been built years ago and has been kind of working its way through the process. But it's not the only solution. We need rail for the valley, for the Fraser Valley. We need light rail in our communities. And those kind of, not only do they create local jobs and operating those systems, but they create more jobs in manufacturing the trains and building that infrastructure than automobiles do. So this is a key part of the solutions that hasn't got enough attention yet. I think between me and Michael, we've covered most of the basics. I really look forward to your questions and hope I can help you.